All right, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Anywhere past noon, it's 10:52 a.m. Pacific time. So I know that we may have viewers before lunch, viewers after lunch, and today we're going to talk about how the 49ers can fix their offense following the disastrous, very unprecise performance at Denver. And the reason that we're going to talk about this is because I wrote about it on The Athletic this morning. How Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan can fix the 49ers' issues against the Rams. It's a three key process. So the link is in the description of the article. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the chat section right now. If you want to read along while we talk about this, go ahead. Make sure that you obviously do subscribe to The Athletic. You can do that through the link that is in that chat section or in that description. And obviously follow along on social media as well. So welcome to our 2022 49ers coverage. You didn't think that it'd be a smooth ride, did you? Not after 2021. Remember, that's the overarching point here. The 49ers started last season 3-5. People were calling for Shanahan's head. They were calling for Garoppolo's head. Drake Kirkpatrick was like a bug on a windshield, right, against Arizona in week 9. And then the 49ers played the Rams in week 10. Garoppolo, Shanahan, and the defense, everybody figured it out. The team ripped off a bunch of wins. They finished 10-7 after starting 3-5, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. So it's just so important to look at this stuff in perspective because one game is not an entire season. And the big issue, and I think what you guys want me to talk about, at least what the rational people want me to talk about, is how do the 49ers fix their issues moving forward? Because we're talking tactics here. This is war. I mean, football is war, right? You go in with a plan each week. Some weeks that plan doesn't work. Some weeks you don't execute that plan. You regather, you assess, what you lost injury-wise. The 49ers obviously lost Trent Williams last week, and you figure out a way how to be better and to give yourself a better chance moving forward. So just like last season, the 49ers faced the Rams when they're at a little bit of a low point, at least a low point for this season, and they have to fix it against the Rams, who are now the defending Super Bowl champions. So that's what the article goes into. That's what we'll go into in this video. Key one for the 49ers, they have to hit the root of their third down issues, and that is second down. Everybody simplistically on social media is going to be talking about 1 for 10 on third down, 0 for 9 for the 49ers on their first 9 third downs. But what they're really not talking about is the fact that the 49ers average distance to go on third down against them, the Denver Broncos, was 8 yards. So they averaged 3rd and 8. Teams don't typically convert 3rd and 8. You want 3rd and 6 or shorter to be over that 50%. 3rd and 8, the whole entire league is under 50% conversion rate. Now, yes, the 49ers 1 for 10. That's even worse than what you would normally be on 3rd and 8. So do they have to be better in those situations? Absolutely. But they can be better in those situations by setting themselves up better on second down. And there was a whole multitude of reasons that the 49ers didn't do well on second down. There was a false start from Jake Brendel. There was a sack given up by Jalen Moore. We talk about Trent Williams exiting that game with a high ankle sprain. Well, Moore came in. He was a disaster. Randy Gregory blasted by him. That pushed the 49ers out of field goal range. Would have been a fringe field goal. But again, any point in that game, any 2 points in that game, any 3 points in that game would have tipped the favor in the 49ers direction. That pushed them out of range and made it third down and 18, right? So second down sack makes it 3rd and 18. That third down is going to be really hard to convert. Also, second down, I wrote in this piece, was just the bane of the 49ers existence, even if it didn't lead to a third down later. Brendel mistimed the snap on the fumble to Garoppolo on second down. Garoppolo stepped out of the back of the end zone on a second down. That was a safety. So there's no third down on either of those two drives, but second down still killed the 49ers. I mean, it got to the point where, it was borderline comical. And I'm going to show you guys this right here. Let's put this big on the screen. Hopefully, there we go. Well, actually, it's not sharing that particular screen. I have to find whichever screen I'm on the wrong screen. My bad, guys. Give me 1 second here and we'll look at here we go. This is how bad the 49ers were on second down. I mean, it's just a 1 game sample. So stuff like the 49ers dot can be a little wildly askew, but basically what you're looking at here is X and Y axis. You want to be further to the right and further up. And everybody's kind of clumped in the middle because league performance is about average here. Find the 49ers dot. This is second down performance in the second half of the game against Denver. Way down here in the bottom left. I mean, they were over 4 times as bad efficiency-wise as the next worst third down team. So that gives you an illustration of just how wrong second down went for the 49ers. So anyway, that's, more of the analytical look at, just the numbers breakdown of what went wrong for this football team. Now we're going to go into the players. Now we're going to go into the coach, Kyle Shanahan. What can the 49ers do to be better on second and third downs so that this doesn't happen again? And that's where we're going to move to key 2. They're going to have to adapt without Trent Williams. Now, this, I think, to a lot of people seems like an absolutely daunting proposition because Trent Williams might be the best player in the National Football League. He's obviously an amazing left tackle. He can run block, and most importantly, he can pass protect, and he lets you breathe a lot easier on the blind side of a right-handed quarterback. The 49ers probably aren't going to have him, though, after he suffered the high ankle sprain against Denver. So without Trent Williams, what do? Well, you go to Colton McKivitz, and you realize if you're the 49ers that you actually beat the Rams last season without Trent Williams and with Colton McKivitz in there in a must-win scenario in Week 18. So this is not, something where the 49ers are just absolutely left for dead without Trent Williams, but they absolutely must adapt. And that's where we get to some of the statistical analysis in this piece. Let's go down here. And you'll see it here. Maybe I can make this bigger. I think that I have a screenshot for you guys that might actually, we could take a screenshot of this and make it bigger on the screen. Here we go. You guys see that? Yeah, this is going to be a little bit easier because I can make it bigger right here. All right, so this is Jimmy Garoppolo against the Rams in the 2021 season. They played him 3 times. First, you're going to have the release time. That's snap to release, average time for Jimmy Garoppolo. So how quickly is he getting ready to the football? Then you're going to have completed air yards and intended air yards. So on average, how long are the throws that he's completing and intending? And then completion percentage above expectation on the right side. Blue is good, red is bad. That is a more advanced measure of accuracy. So we could see how Garoppolo did in all 3 games against the Rams. And, I think the most applicable one right here is Week 10. It's when the 49ers were coming off the loss to Arizona. That's when everybody thought that the sky was falling, but they turned it around. They kicked the Rams' ass. It was 31-10. In that game, Jimmy Garoppolo had the fastest release time of any quarterback in the NFL last year, an average of 2.3 seconds from snap to release. He also threw the football exceptionally short in that game. 5.8 completed air yards, only 6 intended air yards. And he was also exceptionally accurate. Over 12% more accurate than the typical quarterback, according to Next Gen Stats in that game. So by any objective measure, Jimmy Garoppolo had a tremendous Week 10 against the Rams last year, and that was even after the 49ers had lost Mike McGlinchey for the season the week prior, and we're starting Tom Compton at right tackle. Then Garoppolo, it's worth just looking at Week 18. They're missing Trent Williams for Week 18. Garoppolo was almost as quick, 2.41 seconds. He was accurate again, but this time he was hurt, right? He already had the thumb injury at this time. He intended passes a little bit further downfield, but his completed passes were just about the same as Week 10. So in both instances with compromised tackle situations, more compromised in Week 18 than it was in Week 10, but in both instances, Garoppolo got rid of the ball quickly against the Rams. He threw short and he threw accurately, and the 49ers won both of those games. Now in Week 10, it was particularly interesting because Shanahan moved Garoppolo into the shotgun 96% of the time. So he sat back and just fired, sat back and fired. They realized that to overcome their weakened offensive line and that sketchy tackle situation, the 49ers needed to just line Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit further from the defensive line and give him time to take the snap, survey the field, and fire the football in 2.3 to 2.4 seconds. There's been a lot of talk about the 49ers opening up the offense, spreading things out. And they've done it here over the last couple of weeks. They tried to do it in the first half against Denver. They actually saw a little bit of success. They obviously did it with Jimmy after he took over for Trey Lance against Seattle. But it may be that all this talk needs to go out the window for at least the start of this Rams game until the 49ers can feel their way out without Trent Williams, because if the Rams, their pass rush isn't as good as last year. Von Miller's in Buffalo now, but if if this looks anything like the Denver game did down the stretch, the 49ers need to regroup offensively and go back to the basics. You can't bite off more than you can chew. So your strengths under Shanahan and Garoppolo in 2019 and 2021, the 2 seasons in which Garoppolo has been available to the very end, your strengths are that quick game, setting up yards after the catch, shielding an offensive line that's not great in pass protection. I think the 49ers probably have to go back to those basics. Now, the issue here is that you look at the NFC Championship game last year. Garoppolo obviously had 2 injuries by that time. He was extremely inaccurate, minus 17% CPAE. It took him a long time to get rid of the ball relatively in that game. That was one of his longest release times of the year, 3.14 seconds, and he was still throwing short. So Raheem Morris, who is the Rams defensive coordinator, by the 3rd try, obviously figured it out. Raheem Morris was making sure that Jalen Ramsey, that Rams secondary, was all over the 49ers quick game, so Garoppolo couldn't just snap, fire, and release with impunity. So the 49ers are going to have to, it's not like the Rams are dumb and the Rams are going to be sitting back and letting the 49ers pick them apart 2.3 seconds at a time. The Rams in the NFC Championship game were on top of some of this short game. So that's the one concern for the 49ers, right? But Garoppolo was hurt in that NFC Championship game, 2 injuries. He's healthy now, but he's rusty now. He's working to get back in game shape now. Should be better in that regard this week than he was against the Broncos last week. But the 49ers are going to have to counterattack the Rams' adjustments to make sure that their quick release game works. And I think a lot of that starts with maybe surprising them on some of these first downs with some throws, establishing that running game so the run game and the pass game work symbiotically so that those openings are there. Guys like Brandon Ayuk have to get separation better than Ayuk did against Patrick Surtain last week. Garoppolo has to hit Deebo Samuel when he's schemed open by Kyle Shanahan. You can't miss those opportunities, because if you hit an opportunity like that to Deebo Samuel in this game against Denver, it's going to open stuff up for the run game. And then the run game has more than 19 chances to open stuff up for the pass game. So at the end of the day, it's everyone's responsibility to make improvements. And for that, we can go back to the piece right here. It's everyone's responsibility, with key 3 being Garoppolo, Shanahan, cohesion. The 49ers have to have it. You can't live without it. Both of these guys have to take responsibility for what they did wrong against the Denver Broncos. Garoppolo missing passes, forcing passes. Shanahan obviously called some bad plays, the safety in the back of the end zone. You don't run play action at your own 1 with a deep drop. I mean, that's unheard of. That was a bad call. Even the interception from Garoppolo, he did force it, but Shanahan didn't scheme anything good against Denver's defense. So both guys are responsible there, right? Garoppolo can't make a bad play call worse, though. Garoppolo has to be smarter with the football in those situations and live to fight another down. Because, again, that was 2nd down when Garoppolo forced it to Deebo Samuel. Has there been weird energy in between Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan? It seems like yes. Maybe Garoppolo's said, hey, I want things a little bit more opened up. I like that. Shanahan didn't really want to talk about it. Weird energy would make sense given all that these two have been through, especially over the past offseason. I mean, there was a rupture here, a rupture in continuity of some sort when the 49ers moved to Trey Lance and thought that Jimmy would be traded. All parties thought he'd be traded. He's back. But it's incumbent on the 49ers to fix that rupture, whatever, however deep it might be. We're just speculating about its depth, but it's incumbent on them to fix that rupture and find cohesion between quarterback and play caller. They have to do it. And just because there is some kind of tension there right now doesn't mean that tension is a bad thing. Creative tension is something that Bill Walsh himself fostered. You want that. You want guys, you want alpha males to be, disagreeing about the best way to go about things, but then you want them to find a way to turn that disagreement into collaboration and efficiency. So there's nothing wrong with disagreement. The 49ers have to keep their heads on straight, though, and make sure that they turn that disagreement into something that sharpens their sword moving forward. And, this is exactly what happened last year against the Rams. I'm sure that there was some lack of symbiosis with the 49ers last year against the Rams. In week 10, the 49ers entered that game not playing well, but the adjustment the 49ers made was moving into the shotgun 96% of the time and getting the ball out quickly. I will say this, from an overarching point of view, The 49ers pass offense, their ranks in 2019 and 2021 at EBOA were number 8 and number 5, respectively. Both of those are obviously very good. You don't attain those high of efficiency ranks unless both Shanahan and Garoppolo are doing something right, unless that partnership was working. So it's key for the 49ers to return to that, realize that this Denver game was just one game, and find a way to cohesively build given their unique circumstances moving forward. This is my final thought. Shanahan and Garoppolo must work through whatever rupture this offseason brought and make this work. All right, so check out the article. I'm going to put it into the comments section. I'm going to get going here. We'll be on with some more content for you later today. Oops, I posted the wrong thing. I just posted Shanahan. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to post this in the comment section. There you guys go. Everybody subscribe to The Athletic. Check it out and sub to the channel. Have a great day. Take care.